Welcome to part 2 of the Sports Wrap, and in this part we're going to be talking about the Steelers. Now, they had their first preseason game last week against the Philadelphia Eagles, and I had to catch it on the DVR, I had to tape it, because right now the Pirates, with the way they've been playing, they obviously come first. So, I guess what I want to get to first is the injuries that have occurred and that keep occurring in training camp. David Johnson went down in the first quarter. He was going to be the Steelers' primary fullback, and with Todd Haley's new offense, they were going to be using the fullback a lot more, with the blocking schemes and passes out of the flat. And it's really a shame that he had to go down because he really has been solid for them over the past couple years, filling in primarily as the second to third string tight end. So now the only fullback they really have on this roster is Will Johnson, who was not even in football last year. He came out of West Virginia, and the last time he played was 2 years ago on the practice squad. So we don't really know if he can be really the stronghold of fullback. So it'll be interesting to see if they can try maybe sign someone, bring into the camp, and work them out as fullback. The person I was most impressed with during this game had to be Chris Rainey, the fifth-round pick from the University of Florida. He was sensational. The speed, the agility, all the quickness was there. And I must say, he does remind me a little bit of Darren Sproles. And I know it's unfair to compare him to Mr. Sproles, but I think the Steelers, obviously they didn't show the whole playbook in the first game, but I think they're going to utilize him very well. Two receptions, 65 yards. The longest was a 57-yard touchdown pass from, I believe it was Jared Johnson, and Rainey just stormed past all the Philadelphia Eagles defenders. And it was the second team, it wasn't the third team for the Eagles, so that's pretty impressive on Rainey's part. And he really didn't get a chance to do any kickoff returns, so we don't really know what he has in that part of his game. But just the breakaway ability and his size is going to be difficult for the opposing team to try and stop. Other than that, Ben Roethlisberger, he had a pretty good game, 7 of 8. Pretty much they were all dump-off passes. You really didn't get to see him throw the ball downfield a lot with the absence of Mike Wallace. Antonio Brown had a few catches here and there. So did Emmanuel Sanders. He had a very nice touchdown grab from Byron Leftwich. The Eagles defenders were asleep pretty much on that play, and their starters were in there. The best corner in the recent decade, Nania Azumaway, he was nowhere to be found. He didn't know what was going on. So I guess it's a good sign that Leftwich, your backup quarterback, and Sanders, who might be able to be the number 2 receiver if Wallace doesn't play, it's kind of good to know that they can kind of be in sync. As long as the running back competition goes, Baron Batch had the most carries, 19 attempts, 41 yards. It's preseason, so you can't really put a lot on that, but it's good that he went out there and showed that he can collect some yards. A 2.2 average, that's not really good, but it's good for him to come out there. He was injured last year. It's good for him to show the coaches that he still has some gas left in him. Hopefully he can make this team. Personally, at all the running backs, like I said, I think John Clay is going to be the odd man out because Dwyer gave you some good running last year. Redmond's going to be your starter with Mendenhall out. You got Rainey being the explosive kick returner and third down back, and then you have Batch in there as well. Clay is kind of the same as Dwyer, so I don't see him making this team. And besides that, you look at the defense, and I must say their defense, the backups and the third-string team, they are very abysmal. They are truly bad this year because they let third-string quarterback Nick Foles, who came out of the University of Arizona for the Eagles, pretty much tear apart the secondary. Curtis Brown is the one who I'm really worried about because he was supposed to compete for the number 2 starting job after Willie Gay departed to the Cardinals. And he got burned twice. The 65-yard touchdown pass and then a 40-yard touchdown pass. So it's going to take a lot for him to do to come back and show the Steelers staff that he's ready to be a starter. So I don't think he's going to end up getting the number 2 spot. I think Cortez Allen really helped himself out. He had a couple of nice plays, good open field tackles. Keenan Lewis, like I've said before in previous shows, I think he's going to be your nickel back. So you're going to have Ike Taylor, I think Cortez Allen, and then Keenan Lewis rounding out your top 3. And Curtis Brown, I think it's going to take a lot for him to get cut from this team because he is a good special teamer, but I was just really overall disappointed with him in this first preseason game. So, Corey, how do you see, I guess, the running back battle playing out in this preseason for the Steelers?
Well, once again, as you said, I don't see John Clay making it. I like the kid. He was an amazing running back for University of Wisconsin. Well, yeah. But I just don't see him. I think you have to have Redmond in there. And Dwyer, I think Dwyer's one player. He's very versatile. You can throw him in any situation. I think Dwyer will be a big help there. He'll be your second string. Batch, third. But John Clay, I'm sorry to say, but I don't see the kid making it this year.
And now, as far as the defense going into the linebacker situation, James Harrison went down with another injury yesterday at Latrobe, and it's looking like he might not play in the first game against Denver. How critical would it be for the Steelers not to play, especially against Denver with Peyton Manning, if Harrison was not in that game?
Well, you have to look at the Steelers linebackers now, and you've lost a lot of depth there. So you have Timmons, you have Foote in there, Harrison would be in there, and then you would have Woodley. So you're missing that fourth guy, and we lost Verrier, we released him. So I feel like their linebackers are kind of short, and it all depends on how Harrison's feeling. Hopefully, he had knee orthoscopic surgery, so hopefully it's a quick rebound and he'll be back in. But if not, I have a feeling that Peyton Manning might tear apart their linebacker area.
Yeah, especially with Ryan Clark won't be able to play because of the altitude. You're going to have Ryan Mundy in there starting at the free safety position. They have Jason Worlds, and you have Stevenson Sylvester. Worlds, second-round pick a few years back. I think he knows that this would be his time to show that, hey, I'm going to be able to step in for Harrison. Because Harrison, this might be his last year with the Steelers. You never know. He's getting old, and he's very injury-prone. So if Worlds ends up starting that game, then it's going to be a very good test for him, especially against the O-line of the Broncos. And who knows, if he's lucky, I mean, he is not a good pocket presence quarterback. He's not. If he gets pressured, he's pretty much, I guess you could say, what's the saying? How does the saying go there? He can't run outside the pocket. Let's just say he's very flat-footed, and especially, if they get a big hit on him with coming off that surgery, you never know. He might go down. You're never going to know how a player's going to come off of neck surgery. But I guess in the long haul, the Steelers' defense is going to have to battle through injuries, and of course they're getting older every minute, especially with Casey Hampton and Troy Polamalu. So, going into the Steelers' next preseason game, they got the Indianapolis Colts coming to Heinz Field. What do you think Andrew Luck's going to do? I mean, obviously he's not going to be playing the whole game, but he might play the whole first quarter, maybe a little of the second quarter. How do you think he's going to handle this Steelers' defense?
Well, it all depends on what strength he faces. I think Luck, he's a very good quarterback. The Colts were very smart in taking him. I think he'll do okay. I don't think he'll shine, because I think it's going to take a while for the kid to develop and learn the new system. But overall, I could see maybe a touchdown, but no more than that. I don't see Luck really shining. I think he'll be okay. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think the Steelers are going to let their first string defense in for too long. I mean, I think he will have success against them, but because they're going to probably leave Luck in the whole first quarter, probably a few series in the second quarter, because they want to get him to play because he's going to be their starter coming in. So, I mean, I think he's going to end up putting up good numbers. Be nice to get maybe an interception off of him because the Steelers' turnovers, we know the problems they had last year. But I don't know. I think he's going to do all right. Hopefully, maybe Leftwich or Batch, if they'll probably get the majority of the playing time, maybe they'll post up better numbers than him. Even though it's preseason, it don't really matter. But in the next show, next week, we'll get into the outcome of that. And I guess we're going to chat here for a few minutes just about some hockey news, and I'm going to let Corey take that over.
All right, so let's start off with the Shane Doan sweepstakes, as I like to call it. I don't think Shane Doan will move out of Phoenix. I think he's going to sign with Phoenix. The Jameson Group actually bought the Phoenix Coyotes. I don't see him coming to Pittsburgh, nor any other team in the Atlantic Division. Other news in the Atlantic Division, Philadelphia Flyers extended Wayne Simmons, their power forward. I think that's a good signing for them. He's a tough kid, and he stands in front of the net. That's his job, and I think he does a good job of that. Though I still feel, out of the Atlantic Division, the New York Rangers have put themselves in a very good position. You have the Flyers and you have the Penguins, who pretty much kill each other each time they play, and both of those teams got short on defense, especially the Flyers. They keep talking about how the Penguins lost McCulloch and that they still have Martin, but I think Martin will do better than this year. But the Philadelphia Flyers they've lost Mazzaros, they've now lost Andres Lilia, and who knows? I mean, Pronger's not going to be back. I think Pronger's done. That concussion it's pretty much demolished his career. I actually think out of the Atlantic Division right now, I think you have the Rangers the strongest, the Penguins in second, and I'm actually willing to put the Islanders in third. I think the Islanders are going to be a strong team. I think John Tavares is really developing into a really good player, and I do see them doing better than the Philadelphia Flyers, who are going to be in a close fourth. But I think the New Jersey Devils are going to completely drop off. They lost their leader in Zach Parise, and they just don't look as strong up front. He was pretty much their heart and soul of that team. And they haven't re-signed Peter Sikora, so who knows what's going to go on there. The Hurricanes, they look really good. They picked up Jordan Staal from the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they just recently signed Alexander Semin to a 1-year, $7 million deal. Though it's a little risky with Semin, I think that's a good signing, and you could possibly see the first line being Jordan Staal centering Eric Staal on the wing and having Semin. But that would be a little bit overload. I think they're going to split off and have Jordan center the second line with Skinner on one of the wings. But I think you have to watch out for the Hurricanes this upcoming season. Out of the West, don't really see much happening. The Red Wings, still a little bit fearful of their defensive position right now. They lost Lindstrom, and they were thinking about signing Carlo Koliakovo, but I don't see them signing him. So that's still a toss-up there. Other than that, go Pens.
And with that, that's going to end today's episode of the Sports Wrap. I thank Corey for being here. And next week we'll get into some Steelers talk, coming off their preseason game against the Colts, what the Pirates will be doing after their road stand with the Cardinals and the Padres, and if anything that happens with the Penguins, any free agent signings, any other news pretty much that's happening in the world of sports. So signing off on the Sports Wrap, along with Corey Cunningham, I am Michael Kravetz. Thank you for listening.